God, you're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
After knocking out Charles Olivera at UFC 317, securing his second divisional title, Ilia Tuporia is pushing to bring the UFC to his homeland of Spain. Tuporia has been vocal about staging a massive showdown at the 85,000-seat Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid since his knockout win over Alexander Volkanovski in February 2024. Following that, he stopped Max Holloway and now Charles Olivera, and he set his sights on a homecoming clash with his longtime rival, Paddy Pimblett. "That's the fight I'm gunning for," Tuporia declared about Pimblett during the UFC 317 post-fight press conference. "With Charles, it was tough because I genuinely respect the guy. He's such a great person. You can't dislike him. He's always with his family, friends, and team. Just a solid human being. But in the end, it's a competition, and I had to do my job. With Paddy, though, I'm going to relish taking him down." Tuporia has been going back and forth on the idea of a Spain event recently, noting that the UFC informed him a fight there might need to be held at 4 a.m. local time, similar to UFC 304 in Manchester. That timing is far from ideal for all involved. So, El Matador initially suggested he'd rather face Pimblett in the US than put his fans through such an inconvenient schedule. However, his latest high-profile win seems to have bolstered his resolve to make the Spain fight happen. "I want to bring you all to Spain for this fight at Santiago Bernabeu Stadium," he told the gathered media. "It'll be an incredible week. Great food, amazing atmosphere. You're going to love it. I want to show you Spain," he elaborated further in response to questions from the Spanish press. "It's only a matter of time before we make Spain happen," he said through a translator. "It would be phenomenal to fight at Santiago Bernabeu against Paddy Pimblett. We're talking about a spectacle on the level of a Champions League final. Picture it. Fans from Spain, Georgia, and the UK all coming together. I don't want to downplay the legacy of other iconic fights, but this one, it would be something truly special." UFC CEO Dana White has repeatedly acknowledged that organizing an event in Spain has been a logistical challenge for the promotion. But even if the Spain plans don't materialize, a Tuporia and Pimblett showdown could still happen sooner rather than later. "I could be ready by year's end if that's what they want," Tuporia said about his next fight. "If the UFC calls and says they need me back in the cage before 2025 wraps up, I'll be prepared."
You have to balance it up-down as well. Yeah.
Conor McGregor shared a mixed message towards Ilia Tuporia after delivering a stunning knockout win against Charles Olivera at UFC 317. The former featherweight champion silenced his critics with a devastating first-round finish, becoming the first fighter to truly shut Oliveira's lights out. After some intense exchanges early in the round, Tuporia found his rhythm, landed a flurry of precise punches, and left Olivera flat on the canvas. With any luck, the UFC will recognize the star power they have in Tuporia and recapture the electrifying energy of McGregor's prime. At least, the Notorious seems to believe that's within reach. Following the victory, the Irish icon offered a cheeky yet congratulatory nod to the new champion. "Congrats on claiming my old belts, Ilia," McGregor posted. He's talking about resting his balls on Paddy's head too. Haha, well played. "That's a solid lightweight matchup in my book. Is the UFC back on fire or is something still missing? 3 knockouts in a row is damn impressive. No one can argue with a knockout like that. I'm impressed. Tough break for Charles though. Styles make fights. You're a phenomenal and iconic UFC warrior. Heal up." Former UFC BMF champion Justin Gaethje has voiced serious concerns about his future in the octagon. Gaethje recently hinted at possible retirement, and his comments have now caught the attention of UFC CEO Dana White. White addressed the media after a thrilling UFC 317 event at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. The main event showcased newly crowned UFC lightweight champion Ilia Tuporia delivering a viral knockout against former champion Charles Olivera, stealing the spotlight. Tuporia has shown little interest in facing Ghatje, and White appears to share a similar stance. "Look, if you're talking about hanging up the gloves, you know my take. Maybe it's time to step away," White told the press. "We've got a lot of respect for Justin Gaethje. He stepped up big time for UFC 300, and he's been an electrifying fighter for the UFC. But to say, give me a title shot, or I'm done, that's a bit out there." Ghatje has previously expressed frustration with the UFC after securing a rebound victory earlier this spring. The highlight insists he's done enough to warrant another shot at the title, even threatening to retire if the promotion doesn't grant his request. "I'm not here to fight just for kicks anymore," Ghatje said on the Makeshift Project podcast. Gaethje believes his track record speaks for itself in making a case for another title opportunity. "They owe me a shot at the belt," Ghatje stated. "I'm 3-1 in my last 4 fights. They came to me practically pleading for me to take on Max Holloway at UFC 300. To me, that was like an exhibition match. Not that the loss doesn't count on my record, but it had no bearing on the rankings, you know?" The whole MMA community was impressed with Ilia Tuporia's KO win over Charles Olivera, and many wondered what former lightweight champion Islam Makhachev thought in regards to Tuporia's win, and it's not what one might imagine. Islam Makhachev on his Instagram posted a video of him plowing his yard getting ready to plant seeds. Some fans take this subtle message believing that Islam Makhachev is not fazed of Tuporia's win. Leave a comment down below in regards as to who you think Ilia Tuporia should fight next.
Go.
And that's it for all the MMA news for today. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.